so many fucking bands. Would've thought this shit was counterfeit.
Let me know where my seatbelt is. Okay, AC is always blasting in my videos. We're not gonna do that this time around. But hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Azlia. People like to call me Azzy. I'm 19 years old and we're gonna be filming a new video today. Normally my videos will take place from the very beginning of my day to the very end, and it'll maybe be, you know, 1 to 2 days out of my week. But for this video, I'm just gonna be sitting in the car. I came to this, I'm so weird because if I was gonna film this video, I wanted to be in a specific parking lot, in a specific space. That's just what I wanted to do. I filmed like a girl talk / Q&A type of video in this same exact location maybe 3 years ago, and I kind of just wanted to recreate it. Today, we are going to be answering some personal questions, more of your guys' personal questions. So Instagram is currently down. The day I'm filming this is October 4th. I want to edit this video tonight and have it ready to upload tomorrow. I'm just gonna say that in the video, and I'm gonna make sure I get it done, because recently when I've been filming, I've been able to just knock videos out. Like, I'll film it one day and I'll have it done in the next 2 days, not even 2 days, which is crazy for me because I used to drag that shit on for so long. So even though Instagram is down, I did make a post a couple days ago where I asked you guys if you do value my opinion about anything, if you guys had any questions or things you would like advice on. I would definitely love to talk to you guys. We could talk it out in this video. So we're gonna go with what I already had screenshotted. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and get started. Very first question, I'm out of breath because I'm really excited and this is like the most I've talked all day. How do you maintain constant productivity? You don't. I feel like sometimes, I don't know if you're asking like me specifically because you see that I'm productive frequently. Everybody has a different version of what productive is to them. I don't think there's just one certain way to be productive. I feel like it's not even realistic to be productive on a daily basis. Your body needs rest, your mind needs rest. I do feel like what helps me to be productive is I feel most comfortable and most at peace when I have some sort of structure, and that's something I'm still trying to build and create for myself now. But I love writing, actually. So if I want to lay out my day, I'll normally, you know, I'll either lay it out in my planner, or I have a notebook of just things that I would like to get done on a daily basis, and it completely changes day to day. And then I have some days where I literally just lay in bed. That's all I want to do is rest. Sometimes that's what your body needs. So I would not give yourself a hard time for not being productive every day, but I would say having a schedule and planner and just kind of setting your intentions for your day before you actually start your day, rather than just having the day happen to you and you just going with the flow with whatever happens. No, set some structure, set some intentions for your day, and make sure that that shit gets done. Next question is, how do you deal with bad mental health days? I would say, like, for me, is really just, I wouldn't even necessarily say that I deal with it. I don't really like to put a lot of energy into automatically trying to solve why I may feel a way, because it's not always something I can pinpoint. And, you know, constant overthinking requires energy. Like, that can emotionally and mentally wear you out. So even if I'm not able to completely pinpoint what's bothering me, I'll just allow myself to feel these feelings, because, you know, if I do suppress them, I'm just going to have to deal with them later. But I'm just trying to teach myself to allow it to flow, I guess. Like, it's okay for me to feel shitty, you know? Like, it's okay to feel shitty sometimes. But also, I've just been trying to become more aware of how I could be contributing to me feeling shitty, because I feel like it's easy to put the blame on things that are outside of you, objects, people, situations, whatever it may be. But I feel like I really want to start to become more aware and reflect on how I'm contributing to me feeling that way. But also, don't be too hard on yourself, but don't take that as you're not a shitty person for feeling shitty. The things that I'm expressing and things that I personally want to work on are things that we all deal with, and it's completely natural. It's normal. It's just good to be aware of it, and it's okay to feel that way. Take a day to just rest, or I'll either take a day to rest, or some days I'll need to leave the house. I feel like another thing that really grounds me when I'm not feeling my best is just being outside around other people, whether I'm just driving or whatever it may be. Realizing that no matter how I feel in my head on the inside, the world around me is still Like, nothing changes. It's still gonna continue doing what it was gonna do, you know? Life still goes on.
Every time the pack get gone, I get another load.
I feel like that helps me a lot as well. I feel like some of these topics, I shouldn't sound as excited as I am. I'm just in a really good mood. I've just been feeling really good today. So next question is advice on moving out at 18. I've lived in a couple apartments, which is crazy to say because I wouldn't even have needed to move out at this age yet, but you know, the way things panned out, and basically I was given the resources to do it a lot earlier than I thought I was going to be able to. And having that much, like, whenever you're young, I don't know, if you have the resources, you're probably gonna want to do things with it. And you know, you can do it if you have the resources, but that doesn't mean that you are completely ready for it, I would say. But my first experience moving out and being in my first apartment actually was my best experience that I've had. I stayed there for a year. I loved the apartment. It definitely felt like home. It was a really good experience, actually. But I feel like there's a lot that I've learned now that I would like to take with me moving forward, such as I would definitely say to set a budget for yourself first, because I don't have anything laid out, by the way. I'm just going off the top of my head. Set a budget for yourself first, something that's realistic. Most apartment complexes are going to want you to be making at least 3 times the rent that you're paying monthly, so keep that in mind when you're looking. And also, you know, if you're looking at places online, they'll have a base rent, but then you also have to think about trash, monthly pet fees, pest control, which is only like $5. They'll have other fees as well, so don't just sell yourself on the base rent. They're going to have other fees. They're just trying to reel you in, but then they'll hit you with all the other fees. So I would say definitely staying in your budget, in your price limit. You know, you want to be comfortable moving forward month to month. I would also say just do a lot of research. There's so many apartment complexes out there, and the first time that I moved out, I had toured 3 places and I moved into the 3rd one. And even though I'm in an area that's smaller, you know, they don't have every single option in the world. There's a lot of apartment complexes out there, and I feel like I could have at least toured, I would say it toured at least 10 places. That's a lot. But I mean, if you're capable, if you're able to, I would just tour as many as you can, because it's better to look and absolutely hate something rather than moving into an apartment and wishing you would have toured more before you made that final decision. Also, I'm drinking a strawberry acai refresher with lemonade instead of water, and it's so good. I would also say looking into the management of the complex that you're interested in. Sometimes an apartment can be really nice. The amenities are great. Also, check out the amenities, because every apartment complex amenities are different, which is, you know, like the gym, the pool, community area. Sometimes they have office space, things like that. But they would normally show you that if you do a in-person tour of the apartment complex. I feel like it's kind of hard to know if your apartment complex has good management or not before you move in. Then again, I feel like you could simply look at reviews online to make sure that's okay, because you know, you don't want to have a problem with your apartment and then, you know, you should be able to reach out to somebody. Sometimes, you know, it's maintenance that you can contact through your resident portal on your apartment complex's website. You should be able to call somewhere. Imagine if they just never answered, like, babe, my dishwasher's broke, I need service. And you know, you're paying monthly, that's a part of your monthly expenses, so you want to make sure that that shit's working. They also are going to check your credit score, so it's good to keep in mind. I've always been asked for my social, and they can check your credit score that way. I've been talking about that shit for so long. Let's go ahead and move on to the next question, and I'll touch on it a bit again later. How to not take things so personal, not over caring and overthinking about, you get what she's saying. Basically, how to not take things personal and how to not overthink and care so much. This is like a really good question, because people's opinions on you, their idea that they have in their head of you, has absolutely nothing to do with you. They may be judging off of the way you look or the very small access that they have to you, but they don't even know you. So don't take things personal from people that don't even know you personally. Don't take things personal from people you wouldn't even take advice from. If you're happy with yourself, if you're content with yourself and you're comfortable with yourself, other people's opinions and their view on you will not, it literally means nothing. Also, keep in mind, anybody that has anything to say, they already see you through a filter. They've already made their decision on what they think of you. So no matter what you do, they're always going to see you through that filter. So don't try to live up to somebody else's expectations when they'll always have their ways when it's time to form an opinion on you. So, like, just do your shit. Like, it's not, at the end of the day, like, just do what you wanted to do anyway, because that's all that matters. You don't have to conform to the way people think you should act, look, talk, think, live, none of that. Because at the end of the day, it literally changes nothing unless you allow it to. Yeah, like, nobody gives a fuck. And when you think about it, everybody is insecure. Everybody overthinks. Everybody has things in their life that they'd prefer to probably be different. So you're not the only one. Those are things that they're internally dealing with as well. Next question is trying to actually settle down and to have absolutely no hoes. Babe, I feel like that's just an option. Nobody's forcing you. This is giving the same energy as flirting is just my personality. I don't know. If you don't want to have no hoes, don't have any hoes. Drop them, block them, settle down. Like, I feel like you can also settle down without being in a relationship, because I feel like it's easy to get with somebody. Ew. It's easy to get with somebody and to drop everyone else, and that's settling down. But I feel like you can also change your lifestyle without being with somebody else. But that is completely an option, babe. You don't have to have hoes if you don't want hoes, because you have to go out of your way to have them. It's not like they just, right? Like, I'm afraid to get into a romantic relationship. Then don't. From what I'm hearing, it seems like you're not ready to, and that's okay. And you should never feel forced or pressured into being in a relationship. If you're not ready, don't get in one, because that's not fair to the other person. And being in a relationship, it includes so many other aspects than just the label of being in a relationship. It is a mental, emotional, physical, spiritual experience, and it's a huge commitment. So if you don't feel like you're ready to take that on, don't take it on. There is no rush, and nobody should make you feel rushed to be in a relationship. Does birth control work with cramps? So this is a good question, but birth control works differently for everybody. So I can't really just tell you, yes, birth control is going to help with your cramps, because one, everybody's body is different, like I said. Two, there's so many different versions of birth control, so I can't even tell you. You know, it really depends on what you're taking. What brand you're taking can make a big difference. I've never had intense, like really bad cramp on my period, and if I do get them, which I do get them, it'll be within the first 1 to 2 days, and they're not excruciating, they're just really uncomfortable, and they can affect my mood just because I don't feel good. But I have heard that birth control can be beneficial for your cramps and to help ease the pain. If any of you guys that are watching this video take birth control, and just comment your experience with it, you know, help a girl out in the comment section, because, you know, everybody's experience is different with that, and I'm sure somebody else can give you better advice than I can. What do you think is something teenagers should prioritize a lot more than they are? Definitely their happiness and inner peace, and doing what makes them feel good. And I know that can totally, you know, your situation, like the people that you're around, the way you were raised, the life that you live, because everybody's life is completely different, has a huge influence on this. But I feel like, I mean, just as a society, we're raised to do what looks good and what sounds good, but not what actually makes us happy. And I'm not saying that those things that look good and sound good are bad at all, but I'm just saying, I just feel like it's important that we're happy while doing so. And that doesn't mean there's not going to be phases of your life where you're uncomfortable and you're not the happiest, but I just feel like it should be prioritized more than it is. And I feel like it's not really talked about. I would say like actual happiness, actual joy, not things outside of you that give you a rush of excitement for, you know, a couple days, couple months. I mean, like contentment and genuinely being happy within, like not coming from things that are outside of you. And that's like a journey, but I feel like that's really important. Thoughts on dating apps? So, good question. It's very hit or miss. I feel like I would never download a dating app with the intentions of finding my forever person. I feel like it'd be more of an entertainment thing. But not gonna lie, I've had like a good, really good, it's very hit or miss. I wouldn't completely knock it, but it wouldn't be my first choice normally. It just depends. But I wouldn't go into it with the intentions of finding your forever person, because most people just want to fuck. So just keeping it real. So I didn't realize I didn't get footage of me actually asking or reading the question because my camera turned off, but it says, how do you get into the swing of things when you've been in a rut/down? So I feel like I kind of touched on this earlier, where, you know, if I am going through a rut or a phase where I'm feeling down, I'll allow myself to feel it. And normally once I allow myself to feel it, you know, it'll start to pass. And as soon as I start to feel like it's passing and, you know, my mood's been lifted, I'm feeling more motivated to do things, I'm gonna act on that. I would really just say start, because if you continue to allow your mind, obviously everybody's situation is different. Please don't, like, I feel like I don't want to say the wrong thing, but for me, the longer I allow myself to just sit in my thoughts and allow them to control my day and my productivity, I don't know, I just get to a point where I seriously get sick of it, and I make the decision to at least, you know, get up and do something productive. I would say try not to put too much pressure on yourself to just automatically get out of this rut and get so much shit done at once. I would say go day by day and at least try to accomplish one task or get done, you know, one thing that you would like to accomplish that day. I just wouldn't try to push yourself to try to get everything done in one day. Just ease your way back into it. Sometimes I don't feel womanly enough because I don't wear makeup and nails and insecure. I get what you mean, girl. So first of all, makeup and nails, what they got to do with being a girl? I get what you mean. It's easy to think that makeup is feminine. It can make you more feminine. Same with getting your nails done, but little sheets of plastic on your nails does not define you being a woman or you being womanly or being feminine. Nothing to do with it. I don't have nails on right now, and I'm actually loving it because I'm just giving my nails a break to breathe. I got a set done recently, and it wasn't my favorite at first, and then it didn't grow on me, so I just took them off. But I'm not allowing myself to get a new set because I just got them done. I be talking with my hands regardless if I got nails or not, but I just got them done, so that's what you get. Keep them off and let your nails breathe. And then also, makeup doesn't define your femininity whatsoever at all. Like, I'm not wearing makeup either, and still very much a girl. And then also, I feel like society's version of femininity is very toxic anyway. Being feminine, being a girl, has nothing to do with the clothes you wear, the shoes you wear, the hairstyle you have, the nails you have, the makeup you're wearing, the products you're using. None of that matters. You are still just as feminine without the nails, without the makeup, without the clothes, without everything. Like, you're still that bitch regardless, so don't forget that. How do you adult? I'm having a really hard time. Girl, I don't know. I swear we're all trying to figure this shit out. I'm about to be 20 years old, and I feel like this is going to be the phase of my life, and I feel like it's already starting, where I'm gonna, you know, be on a journey to finding that out. What really is adulting anyway? Because I feel like even adults, they don't really know what they're doing. When does that end? I don't know if it does. Do you think you will be moved into a house next year, or I don't know? So this was actually a thought in my mind at one point, actually within, you know, sooner than later. But then I realized, or I questioned myself, do I feel like this should be my next step because it's what I actually want to do, or because I feel like that's what would make the most sense? Like, I don't know. I feel like people see, okay, you've been in an apartment, you've been in more than one apartment, when are you actually going to progress and buy a house? I'm 19. I got my entire life to buy a house. I get bored every 3 months, and if I moved into a house, I'd probably, within a year, I'd want to live somewhere else. And I know just because I buy a house, that doesn't mean I'd have to live in it forever. You can always rent it out. But I personally, right now at 19, I really enjoy the apartment lifestyle. I like having maintenance. I like having a lobby where I'm greeted every time I walk in. I like my car being in a parking garage rather than right up front. I mean, you can have a garage, but I also like being elevated. I actually really like living in an apartment right now. So I'll do that when I feel like it's my time, but I don't have the intentions on moving into a house anytime soon because that's not what I want to do. How do you stop living for male validation? Ooh. I feel you. I do feel you. But men ain't shit. Like, besides, you know, you get the exception. He's probably not even watching this. But who the fuck cares what an insecure, egotistical man thinks about you? Baby, their validation means nothing. Please do not let a man-child that probably got fucking crusty booty flakes in his ass, uses 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner, barely even, like, has horrible grammar, what are they validating? Like, men are like dogs. It takes nothing to even impress them anyway. Like, they're easy. So I don't know, I feel like you'll be so much happier when you start to live for the validation of yourself and what makes you happy, clothes that you feel comfortable wearing, the way you want to do your hair. Like, don't make decisions based off of men that most likely aren't even permanent. And even then, like, imagine getting validation from a male, like, but that's not what makes you comfortable. I don't know, their approval does not mean shit because they're not even comfortable with themselves. Nobody even has a say if somebody else is valid. That's literally giving the same energy as what we did when we were in maybe 5th grade, rating people from 1 to 10 or BMS. And for example, somebody were to rate somebody a 7. Who said they're a 7? You? What I gotta do with them? Who are you to rate somebody else? Like, yeah, it literally means nothing. That's not what it actually is. Baby, what is that? That don't mean shit. Like, that doesn't even, okay? You will continue to be lost trying to live for the validation of people outside of you because they'll never be satisfied. So imagine trying to conform to what other people want you to be when they'll always have an issue. It'll always be something. So it really doesn't matter. So this was the other question I wanted to touch on, getting approved for an apartment as a content creator. I hate that name, but I do create content and it's much better than influencer, which I will never ever use. Have y'all ever heard me say that shit? Maybe once when I was like 17, but I will never call myself that, especially because I never claimed I wanted to influence people. Like, I understand people may naturally be influenced by others, everybody is, but I never claimed to be a role model or told you to do what I'm doing, you know? I just kind of share a portion of my life. But I feel like the only difference about getting approved as a content creator is the way you show proof of income. If you do receive income from YouTube, you know, YouTube pays you, you get paid straight through Google AdSense. So obviously, since it's not like a 9-to-5 job, your pay is going to fluctuate depending on how often you post, how many people are watching your videos. I mean, so much. I mean, how much YouTube is pushing your videos. It all depends. So normally when you want to get approved for an apartment, they're going to ask you for pay stubs. But since I don't have those, since I don't have a regular 9-to-5 job and I get paid through direct deposit, I mean, a lot of apartment complexes don't allow it. I have to go with somebody that's going to accept bank statements. And there's been so many, you know, while apartment hunting, there's been so many apartments I've just had to, you know, completely disregard because they don't accept bank statements. But normally if they do accept bank statements, they'll ask anywhere from 3 to 6 months of bank statements just to make sure it's been consistent through a longer period of time. But there's been one point for one apartment where I've literally had to show them my entire bank account, my whole entire everything, literally everything, to get approved, other than investments. I've been investing, it's been about a year now since I've been taking it seriously. Damn, it's really not as dark as I thought. It's just because my windows are tinted. They withdraw money from my account 4 times a month. But yeah, I do take part in multiple different investments. But yeah, other than that, my bank account, they saw everything. Next question. I just realized my only source of light right now is my phone screen. But it's okay because I like it. It feels like we're just 2 friends chilling in the car having a deep conversation at 7 p.m. and it's raining. Like, that's what a vibe, you know? Is it advisable to date your male best friend? By the way, he's a player. I think you just answered your own question. I would never advise dating a best friend because that's not a best friend. Like, if you had a crush from the jump, you could have just said that. No, ma'am. Dating at 13 to 15, no. Not being a pessimist. This is a really good question, and I actually had to Google the definition of pessimist because I've heard it before, but I wasn't completely familiar with it. But basically, being a pessimist, the definition of being a pessimist is always assuming the worst in every situation. I feel like this is something that a lot of us do, including myself at times. It's so easy. It's so much easier to just assume the worst about the unknown, or, you know, just putting a negative label on something rather than actually getting to learn the situation or the person, like actually know what's going on. It's so much easier to just be like, all right, well, it's probably the worst of the worst. I feel like people with trust issues, they definitely do this. You know, you'll be talking to a person of interest and, you know, you may feel a way about something, you may confront something, like you got so worked up, built all this tension, drained yourself, wore yourself out just because you thought the worst. But what you think, just because you automatically thought the worst, that doesn't mean that's what it actually is. Your thoughts are not reality. You are not your thoughts, and just because you think something does not mean it's true. So that's why it's a lot healthier to ask questions. Just ask questions and just be honest, and don't allow like the way your body, because whenever you act this way and you think the worst, it affects you physically, and you don't want to get absorbed into that negativity. I know the unknown is scary. I know it's so much easier to assume, but that doesn't mean it's true. And why don't instead we just start to assume the best before we assume the worst? But nobody wants to do that. People just want to be negative and keep it pushing. Next question is it best if you feel like your life is just repetitive, but you know it'll get you somewhere in the future? I don't think there's anything wrong with consistency. I feel like there's always going to be parts of your life that are repetitive, and I feel like that's a good thing, because I feel like if shit was different every single day, you wouldn't feel like you had structure. I feel like not much would be getting done. I feel like there's always good to implement at least some sort of consistency in your life, and that's okay. But I completely feel you. I feel you on shit feeling like the same, like same shit different day, but I wouldn't say that's necessarily a bad thing. I feel like it is good to try new things, meet new people, create new memories, try new, you know, have new experiences. But if you are doing something that's repetitive and consistent and you know it's going to get you somewhere in the future, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I feel like there's always, you know, little things you could sprinkle into your life to keep things interesting, but I wouldn't say you have to completely change your lifestyle or anything just because it's repetitive. Should you tell the guy you're dating you're a virgin? I would, especially if your virginity is something that's really important to you and you know you want to make sure it's with the right person. I would be open about that for sure. Just please make sure it's the right person, because obviously not everybody needs to know that information. You're not owed anybody that information, but if you feel comfortable and that's something you want them to know, yes, I personally would for sure. Boyfriend of 2 years was planning on leaving me for a new bitch. I found out about it and he changed his mind. I was gonna break up with him, but he actually changed and tries to be better for me. Okay, no. If somebody even had the thought of replacing me or being with somebody else when they're with me, no ma'am, you can have them, because obviously if you completely wanted me, he wouldn't even be weighing his options out. Babe, y'all are dating, why is he still weighing out options? I'm confused. And then what I don't like is how he actually changed and he tries to be better for me. Okay, he tries to be better for you, but is he trying to be better for himself? Did he ever actually see an issue with his actions, or did he just apologize or plan to change because you said something? I don't ever fuck with people trying to change for me. Like, it's okay to want to be better for somebody. I think that's a beautiful thing, but if they don't want it for themselves and it's not genuine, it's not gonna last long, and that's not really sustainable for a real relationship. I think you deserve better, and you deserve to be with somebody that thinks this is everything I've ever wanted, this is all I've ever asked for, not weighing out his options when y'all are literally dating. That's not cute. Should I kiss him on the first date? Girl, that is up to you, but I would not. Babe, I'll make sure he does it first. I mean, it's attractive to make the first move regardless, but I'm gonna wait. You can kiss me if you want to kiss, and then we can see what happens after that. But I'm not kissing you first unless I'm really feeling it. But you can start. How can I switch up the combos I have with the guy I'm talking to? I would say ask questions. I personally love answering questions, and I feel like, I don't know, rather than just how's your day, what are you up to, sending TikToks back and forth, like you can actually ask questions. That's even something you can Google, like questions to ask your significant other. Or you know what, I feel like I mention him in every video now, but something you could do, go to Target. It's a box. It was a trend for a little bit, but it's in a red box, and it's basically just a card game where you guys can get deep, like y'all can get personal, and the questions are already provided for you, so it's not even like the person can feel a way about you asking it, because it's just a part of the game. But obviously if there's a question you don't want to answer, you can skip it. Yeah, that game was very eye-opening. Literally cried. If y'all want to be crying and hugging up on each other, that's the game to get. But if you don't want to go to that extent yet, I mean, there's other card games. Or yeah, just ask questions, I would say, or figure out what he's interested in. I don't know. I feel like also, is that a bird? If you naturally click with somebody, I mean, you'll have good conversations, but I also know that You don't have to be talking to somebody 24/7. If there's nothing to talk about, you don't have to talk at the time, you know? Can you use tampons overnight or will it cause toxic shock syndrome? I definitely would not sleep with a tampon in overnight. I know it's suggested to change a tampon every couple hours depending on your flow. I know they say, like, I've heard like 1 to 2 hours is best, but you can leave one in, they say, for 8 hours, but that's really pushing it. And if you have some sort of healthy sleep schedule, you're at least getting 6, 7, 8 hours of sleep. No, and I still would not suggest that. Why is my shit not sending? I have full bars. Anyway, no, please sleep with a pad on. Get them granny panties out, put that big ass pad on with the wings, you'll be fine. Please do not sleep with a tampon in. I don't recommend that. My boyfriend cheated. Once a cheater, always a cheater. I believe he can change. Baby, he ain't gonna change. If he did it once, he's gonna do it again. And if you accept that behavior and you keep it pushing and you give him another chance, he obviously knows he got away with it the first time. He can get away with it again. Please have enough respect for yourself to not go back to somebody that cheated on you. Should I trust my intuition? Always. Always trust your gut. Always listen to your intuition. It's very rarely wrong. Is social media important in a relationship? Acknowledging your significant other on different platforms? Absolutely not. An app on your phone does not define your relationship. That's between you and your significant other. So that's how I feel. But it's different if you guys are already both actively using social media and they're already commenting on other people's posts, already interacting with other people. If they're going out of their way to not interact with you on social media, that's different. But it doesn't define your relationship. Just because he didn't comment on your post does not mean he don't like you. It's not important in a relationship. It's not important at all. It's not even real. So does fake it till you make it work? No, I don't think so. I absolutely hate that saying, and I always feel like uncomfortable when people say it because, like, for example, being happy. Are you gonna fake being happy till you're actually happy? How are you gonna learn to actually be happy if you, like, I don't think that works. I think you should be real with yourself and actually acknowledge like what it actually is and work from there. I don't feel like being fake in any aspect is gonna get you anywhere. That's just my take on that. I've never understood when people say that. How can I work on my trust issues? What can I do because I want to be able to trust people? I was having this conversation the other day and I was told the only way you can trust people moving forward is to make the decision to trust them, because that's just a simple decision. If you don't have trust, you don't have anything. In a friendship, relationship, whatever it is, if you don't trust, there is nothing. There is no relationship, there is no friendship. How are you not gonna trust a friend or your significant other? You just have to make the conscious effort, make the decision to trust that person. If you feel as if you can't trust them, like you feel like there's something, if you feel like there's something specific that's putting you off from trusting them, that's different. Keep it pushing, because you're probably right. Like, there's probably a reason to think that way. But if they've done absolutely nothing wrong and they've given you no reason to not trust them and you just don't, that's not fair to them. That's kind of a waste of their time, because what else can they really do to prove to you that you can trust them without, I mean, like, what else can they do? If you're not going to give them your trust, they don't really, there's nothing. So, and also, you know that saying where people are like, if you don't trust them or if you already accuse them of cheating, for example, they're probably gonna go ahead and do it anyway because you already think they are? No. Who the fuck made that up? It must have been a man, because if all it took was for somebody to not trust you or to have trust issues or to feel a way about something for you to cheat, baby, he was gonna do that from the beginning. That's all it took. You was waiting to do that from day one. My BFF still hangs out with somebody who treated me like shit. What should I do? I'm assuming that they know that this person treated you like shit and they don't care. I personally would have a problem with that. Like, I'm the type of friend, I would be the type of friend to you where, like, if you don't fuck with somebody, I'm not fucking with them, especially if the only way I knew that person was through you, then we don't have anything at that point. Like, you did my friend dirty, so what else do we have? What's the catch? Why am I still here? That's just me. If you really aren't fucking with that and you've had a conversation, maybe even numerous conversations about it, and they don't give a fuck, bye, see ya. I don't know if that's healthy or not, probably not, but if you're not fucking with them and the only way I knew them was through you, bye. Like, I have no correlation other than through the person that they did dirty. So I don't really care. I don't know. Like, a part of me tries to say, like, girl, that's immature, but then it's also like, how could you, like, how do you sleep at night? I don't know. That's just me. Is it normal to crave someone when they aren't around but feel nothing around them? I screenshotted this one because I don't think I've ever heard of this before, and it makes me think. And I wouldn't tell you it's normal or not normal because I don't know, I don't really have a say in that, but it's definitely different. I would say maybe you are craving the way you make you feel, or just the attention, or the company in general, maybe not the person. That's all I can really think of. But I mean, the way I feel around somebody says everything for me. I'm definitely the type of person, like, first time we meet, we're having regular conversation, but I'm reading you out, like I'm feeling it out. And it really only takes me one time to feel out somebody's vibe to the point where to know if I'd want to hang out with them again. If I feel good around somebody, we're good. Like, I don't need to know everything, but I don't know, maybe you just got fucking tired of them. Like, okay, so to close everything else, I saw this quote at the end of one of Hannah Malosh's videos recently, and it says, don't use your energy to worry, use your energy to believe, create, trust, grow, and heal. Because when you think about it, worrying and overthinking and being stressed out and sad and mad, that takes the same energy, if not more. Like, that's the same energy you can use to believe, create, trust somebody, grow, and heal. So it's up to you what you want to put that energy towards and what you want to steer your attention towards. Obviously, it doesn't feel good to worry and overthink. Try to make the effort to kind of just transfer that energy to a more positive way of thinking. Overthinking and all of these negative thoughts exert a lot of energy, you know, like overthinking and then trying to like combat that with, you know, telling yourself everything, like all of that requires energy and it can physically wear you out. So I don't know, just try to like really think about and be more aware of what you're putting your energy towards and what you're allowing yourself to like get absorbed into, I guess. And remember that you are not your thoughts. Those are things you think about, but that's not you. Like, when you think about it, this book has me asking questions. Like, it asks you like, who are you? Who am I? It's so easy to say like, I'm Azlia. Are you? Because that's just a name you were given when you were born, but you were you before you were given that name. And then it was like, oh yeah, well, my name's blah blah blah, I'm married to blah blah blah, went to school, blah 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 blah. Okay, once again, like, you were you before you had that name. You were you before you were married. Like, did you not exist before you were married? Like, did you not exist before you went to this school? Did you not exist? Like, you were still there. So it's just like a journey of like finding yourself, like figuring out who and what you really are, because it's not the labels you're given, it's not the labels people put on you, it's not the things you do, it's not the things you wear, it's not the money you make, because without all of those things you would still be you. So I don't really know what you want to do with that information, but I'm like holding my phone because this is the only light source I have, unless y'all want yellow ass lighting. I mean, it still looks fine, but wow, it's dark. I'm gonna be editing this video like, I feel like I'm telling a scary story now at this point. I could have put it right here, even that looks better. But with all that being said, I answered literally every question I had screenshotted. I'm kind of impressed because I feel like it didn't even take me that long, but I feel like we covered a lot of good stuff. I feel really good, and I hope that you guys feel better after watching this video. I always want you guys to leave my videos feeling good, motivated, happy, like positive. If you are going to be influenced, I hope it's in a good way. I never want you guys to feel less than, or like you're not doing enough, or you're not enough after watching my videos. I never try to make it seem like I'm higher or better than anyone, because if you get satisfaction or you get your confidence off of feeling like you're better than somebody else, baby, you need a wake-up call, because everybody's equal and nothing outside of you makes you better than anyone else. So with all that being said, thank you guys so much for sticking to the end of this video if you made it this far. I love you all the most. Thank you so much for watching this video. I feel like it was super raw. Like, I feel like we're so much more connected now. So thank you all so much for watching this video. You are all so special, so loved, so talented. I'm giving y'all the biggest hug right now because you deserve it. Thank y'all for tuning in, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.